The P-51 Mustang is one of my all-time favorite aircraft, and this watch is genuinely made from one. Today we are checking out the new Zelos Comet, and this is a paid partnership video. I first got hands-on with Zelos back when I started this channel. They were one of the first brands that I borrowed a watch from, and back then they were certainly classed as a micro brand. But now they've been going since 2014, that's been over 10 years. So at what point does a micro brand become an established watch brand? Now, Zelos is a different sort of watch brand. They really lean into colors and textures, and that kind of outlines the context of these new watches. The Comet line is Zelos's interpretation, modern interpretation, of a pilot's watch. Typically a highly legible watch with very little complication, focusing on solely being a tool for the pilot. Now, of course, that traditional use is no longer technically needed, so Zelos has taken that format and modernized it. I'll go over all the specs, but if you're familiar with the Comet line, then the new one has an integrated bracelet, a different and highly finished movement, and of course a whole selection of new dial combinations. We have 5 new versions within this Comet lineup, and the names all refer to the dials. We've got a Guilloche mother of pearl, we've got a meteorite version, and the dial is made from genuine meteorite. We have a Vulcan version, we then have a 51 limited edition, and then we have a Tantalum limited edition. I have the Tantalum limited edition and the Vulcan with me. Weirdly, the Vulcan is also one of my favorite aircraft of all time. However, the name doesn't refer to the aircraft. The name is in reference to the stone dial and connecting it to Vulcan, the god of fire. Let's go through all the specs quickly. So all the cases are 316L stainless steel, apart from, of course, the Tantalum version. The case is 39mm wide. It's 7.6mm thick without the crystal. However, the crystal is a boxed sapphire crystal, so that adds a little bit of height, taking it to 9.4mm thick. The lug-to-lug measurement is 45mm long, and the lugs are 20mm wide, so the bracelet starts at 20mm and then tapers down to 16mm. The case has 50 meters of water resistance and is predominantly brushed. However, the chamfered edges of the lugs have a mirror finish. Now, the movement inside this thing is quite an interesting one. It's quite a big talking point. It's an ETA movement, and technically an off-the-shelf ETA movement, but Zelos has massively reworked it. So the movement is the ETA 7001. This was originally launched back in the 70s by Pesu, but then ETA bought Pesu, and then it's of course called now the ETA 7001. It's a manual wind movement that beats at a nice slow 21,600 vibrations per hour versus the typical 28,800 vibrations per hour. So the balance wheel is spinning back and forth ever so slightly slower. The movement has 42 hours of power reserve, and it's got 17 joules inside. Zelos has given quite a lot of detail around what they've done to the movement to customize it, and a lot of things you can just spot yourself, because the movement typically looks like this, and this is what is inside the Zelos. So they've completely redesigned the bridges, and that goes along with the overall aesthetic of the modern aesthetic of the watch. And they've kind of semi-skeletonized it. They've exposed the gear train underneath a lot of the bridges. The plates have been given this dark PVD gunmetal coating, and the bridges themselves have been sandblasted. And all of this just adds to a lot of depth. It accentuates the depth of the movement, because then the wheels and jewels really stand out along with those blued screws. Last but not least, you've got the Guilloche finished barrel. The Tantalum version is, I guess, the outlier from the rest of them, because it comes on a strap rather than a bracelet. And then, of course, given the name, it's made of tantalum. Tantalum is a rare metal that's incredibly dense, and it naturally has this deep, dark, grey-blue color to it. It's so dense that it's over twice the weight of steel, and it's even heavier than gold. It's highly corrosion resistant, it barely reacts to acid, and it doesn't react to any body fluids. Because of these properties, it makes it ideal for a watch, and it also makes it interesting to use it within a watch. However, it's hard, literally hard to use it in a watch. Because it's so dense, it is literally hard. And then you have the melting point. The melting point of tantalum is twice that of stainless steel. Because it's such a tricky material to work with, and because it's a rare metal, it's then rare to find it in a watch at this price point. The dial is pretty complex. It's crystallized titanium 2 ways. So on the outside we have, I guess, the raw crystallized titanium, and on the inner part you have it blued with a guilloche pattern. And you can actually see the flakes of titanium as they kind of glisten. Crystallized titanium is incredibly hard to work with, to CNC, and it's even harder to do the guilloche pattern. So this watch is just outright tricky to make. And because of that, there's only going to be 50 of the Tantalum versions made, and these ones will cost $2,499 and there's no tariffs on these watches. The Vulcan watch that I have here is more of the normal format for the rest of the watches. 316L stainless steel case and bracelet, with the bracelet having an on-the-fly bracelet extension system hidden behind the logo on the clasp. You just press the clasp in and that allows you to interact with the bracelet extension. The dial on this one is a contrast of lots of different things. So we have a forged carbon outer ring with a tiger eye stone on the inner ring. It's an interesting contrast between the complex but colorless, very modern material of carbon alongside the visually complex but more traditional, natural tiger eye stone. This Vulcan version on the bracelet is going to cost $1,699, again, without any tariffs. Now, I've saved my favorite version of this watch till last. This is the 51 limited edition. It's my favorite version because of the colorway. The overall look is just monotone. You've got grays, you've got blacks, you've got whites with a little hint of colored patina on the dial. And then you've got that light blue subdial with the little yellow hand. But then it's also genuinely connected to one of my favorite aircraft, the P-51 Mustang. It's my favorite aircraft because it's small, it's beautifully designed, it's highly agile, and despite its good looks, it packs one hell of a punch. It is just a stunning machine. And that's what makes the 51 limited edition watch so special, because it actually has a genuine piece from a P-51 Mustang. The dial is made from the exhaust cowling of a crashed P-51 Mustang. Now this is a weathered piece of metal. It's full of patina, and that means that every single dial is going to be unique. And that's also why it's limited to only 25 pieces. The different versions of the Comet are at different price points given the fact that they use different materials and that requires different manufacturing processes. The gear-shaped mother of pearl and the Vulcan both cost $1,699. The Meteorite costs $1,799. The 51 limited edition costs $1,999, and remember that's only 25 pieces. And then the Tantalum limited edition is going to cost $2,499, limited to 50 pieces. All of these prices already include US tariffs, and they're going to go live on the 29th of October. For more information, check out zeloswatches.com. I want to know your thoughts on these watches down in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you like the style of this video, hit the subscribe button down there and that little bell icon so you get notifications when I drop a new video. If you're on Instagram, give me a follow at Bark and Jack. And I'll see you guys very soon. Take care.